Today's horoscope from Astrocademy, Libra September 28, 2022. You're inclined to do quite a bit of thinking now. Today is good for exchanging ideas and information. Problem solving is highly favored for matters in which you're not too personally invested. You can be a good go-between right now. It's a good idea to relax and participate in activities that help you symbolically clear the slate or let go of things you no longer need. The moon is balsamic today, pointing to the need to take the time to contemplate, reflect on the past, and consider changes you'd like to make in the future. Tomorrow's new moon can shift your attention and signal a time for starting fresh. Today is good for recognizing which projects, lines of study, or attitudes you're better off without. Take time to catch your breath before the upcoming cycle in which you are far more visible, influential, and accountable than usual. Today can also feature a mind-expanding moment. What have you learned or experienced in the last few days that could advance your career? Luckily, you have time to consider your professional beliefs, experiences, and teachings under the moon in Libra today. As there are no other major transits to overpower the moon, you can lean into its reflective energy. The lunation is asking you to consider everything that you have learned. As you reflect, list the educational outlets and experiences that matter the most in your professional development. This will help you define the best outlets to refer back to for help. Just as the moon returns to begin the lead up to a new moon in your career sector, Neptune moves into his final 4 weeks in retrograde motion in your career sector. This gives Neptune a better chance to exploit untapped income potential now, but also ensure that when he turns direct, the right professional momentum has been created. There isn't much that you can't incorporate into your schedule when you are focused on the task. You may not want to be like Rocky and drink raw eggs in the morning before running up the steps of the Philadelphia Art Museum, but you can arrange to get up an hour early and go for a jog before you get to work. This kind of effort will help you manage the influences of the planetary alignments at this time. The moon will spend its final hours in an adventurous part of your chart aligned with Mercury before not only ending the day in your career sector but beginning the lead up to a new moon. While the moon is shifting its focus from one side of life's fence to the other, Mercury will hold on for another few days, working with planets in Aquarius and in a playful part of your chart to send a message that life can't be all work and no play. The aim is to have it all. During her last full day in a social and serendipitous part of your chart, Venus, the planet of love, will be doing her best to put you in the right place at the right time. Venus has been using the laws of attraction and synchronicity to create serendipitous moments or encounters for the last 4 weeks, but is on a mission to make her last full day here count. What are you waiting for? The moon continues to ignite your pleasure-seeking 5th house of love, infatuation, and self-expression, bringing emotional emphasis and intuitive clarity to themes surrounding your heart's desires and passion projects, but there's more. Luna will be in close proximity to Venus and Mercury, which, in turn, energizes and revitalizes similar themes. Are you holding back from sending that text? Luna's trine to lucky Jupiter in your sign invites you to take a leap of faith, and its square to Pluto highlights the transformation that's taking place in the process. Change is here, and you manifested this. The current planetary configuration impels you to examine your life with a healthy perspective. You could be working on a plan of how you would like to live your life over the next 25 years. You must endeavor to make your health choices consciously, for your bodies is the very structure in which you live. Give yourself all the help you need in figuring out what works best for you in terms of diet and exercise, and create a balance that enhances your well-being. Our eyes in the sky. O'Day brings the moon in Libra, creating a grand air trine with Venus and Saturn. This is a beautiful energy to lift your spirits. You might be able to step back from your problems and see them from a more analytical perspective. There's a strong feeling of harmony, with the sun and moon in Libra bringing many gifts of happiness and community. You might even be able to express some of the things you've been holding back over the last few days. As Venus in Gemini gently connects with Saturn in Aquarius, there is a refreshing ease of mind. You're able to work around your problems and see the more evolved side of the lesson. Remember that there is some kind of duality in everything. Whether you're taking the good with the bad or understanding the lessons of the shadow side, you have much to appreciate right now. You might even strengthen your connection to a wider group of like-minded individuals who also see the world from a more spiritual perspective, so be open to the people you meet online or off. Secret admirers can come out of the woodworks with little or no warning during transits like these. This week brings you a sigh of relief. You'll find out that change is possible. If you've been lax about stabilizing your career and looking toward advancement, it's time to make a shift. If your career doesn't want to cooperate, you need to map out the steps for change. Money follows when you get in touch with your emotions. Whatever makes you happy will give meaning to your working life. Before noon, retrograde Mercury aligns with Venus in Virgo, helping us to communicate our feelings and desires. However, because Mercury is retrograde, we may also be re-evaluating our affections and determining where others fit into our lives. Planets in Virgo crave structure, and under this influence, we may assess whether romance has become ritualistic instead of helping us to grow. Fortunately, we can discuss sensitive issues with our partners now without hurting their feelings, but we may still come off as more critical than we intend. Maintaining a little bit of self-awareness should help to mitigate this problem. If someone does permit us to assist them, we will make sure they don't forget it. Reminders of how giving and generous we are subtly imply that we are owed a debt of gratitude, which inevitably breeds resentment, making the other party wish they hadn't asked in the first place. We should monitor our actions closely today. Self-reflection is the only way to determine whether we are out of line or overstepping another's boundaries. Before noon, retrograde Mercury aligns with Venus in Virgo, helping us to communicate our feelings and desires. However, because Mercury is retrograde, we may also be re-evaluating our affections and determining where others fit into our lives. Planets in Virgo crave structure, and under this influence, we may assess whether romance has become ritualistic instead of helping us to grow. Fortunately, we can discuss sensitive issues with our partners now without hurting their feelings, but we may still come off as more critical than we intend. Maintaining a little bit of self-awareness should help to mitigate this problem.